podcast, it's revealed. For the breakdown left tonight, black and gold, we're taking flight. Every story, every fight, for the breakdown every night.
What's going on, Boiler Nation? It's Wednesday night. It's October 23rd, 2024. Brand new episode of the Boiler Breakdown podcast, streaming live on the Boiler Breakdown Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitch channel. That's a mouthful. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that follow at Boiler Break Pod on all social media platforms. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, any of those, give us that 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate it. And tonight's episode is brought to you by Mad Mushroom and the Shop. We'll get into more details about our wonderful sponsors later on. I'm Tanner Lee, co-host Evan Webb, back in the captain seat this week. How we doing, Webby?
Not too bad, Tan. Glad the most attractive host of the Boiler Breakdown is back after some shots were taken in my direction last week.
Man,
so I'm glad to.
She didn't give us any grace.
No, she didn't.
No.
But shout out to Mrs. Lee for stepping up and
she held her own. So that was fun. So Ted Berkey on YouTube saying exactly what I was thinking. At least Purdue football won't lose this weekend.
I mean, there's still ways Purdue can lose in a way.
Or decommitments, things like that.
Yes. I saw, as a Bears fan, I saw some, Bears were on bye this past week, and I saw some people saying the Bears actually still lost the bye week because everybody else in their division essentially won outside of.
That's true.
Outside of the Lions and Vikings played each other, so one of them had to lose, but Packers won, so didn't gain any ground. But so
it's true. Tough division.
Our least favorite teams could still win this weekend.
Oh, I'm expecting it. It's happening every weekend anymore. Notre Dame wins, IU wins, Colorado wins, Illinois wins.
Yeah.
Purdue loses. It's just a joy. It's this 2024 college football season has been my personal hell.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer because I love college football so much in football season. But man, Saturdays have not been enjoyable.
No.
This past Saturday wasn't enjoyable because all those teams I just mentioned won, but Purdue did not lose on Saturday. They lost on Friday night.
Beat everybody to it.
Shutout on Friday night.
Yeah.
35-0 was the final against then number 2 Oregon, which now, since the game was played, is now number 1 in the country. Not a lot to really speak on of this game. The score was closer than the game really was.
Mm-hmm.
I think Oregon could easily put up 56 to 60 plus if they wanted to, but they took the foot off to get their gas off the gas a little bit. I felt like in the second half and kind of were working on some things as the game was going on. Whereas Purdue was trying to throw everything they had at them and nothing could work. I mean, Purdue's running game did all right, but passing game didn't replicate what we saw at Illinois a week prior.
No, and you and I both were not in attendance.
No.
Which
is
game.
rare. Which is rare.
It's very rare. Yeah, I mean, I could have. I wasn't feeling well. I had been traveling for work all week and just kind of wasn't, just from the travel and lack of sleep, wasn't feeling great. But it sucks because this was the game that when the schedule came out, it was like, Friday night game, awesome. Like, I'm going to take off work for this game, under the lights. Ross under the lights is always really, really fun. Just because we grew up not having many of those. So I always, I don't take those for granted. And then, like, when it got close, I was like, I'm not even going to go, which is really unfortunate because it kind of just shows, I think, we're a lot of fans. I mean, credit to those who did show up because the crowd looked awesome. I was a little worried at how it would look. But
loud on TV too.
It was loud, yeah. Crowd, this Ross Aid Brigade was awesome. They were full up until about halftime, which I don't blame them. But yeah, it was just unfortunate. It just wasn't kind of from the jump. It was I kind of had a feeling that even had Purdue played better, I still had a feeling that the game's going to go kind of that way. But just because of how talented Oregon is, actually, them knocking off Ohio State the week before, they definitely didn't look sluggish at all, as we were as some Purdue fans might be hoping of coming off a big win, ready for the letdown against the Spoilermakers. But maybe if it was a noon game on a Saturday, maybe that could have been a thing because it was 9 o'clock 8 a.m. their time. But yeah, Oregon they didn't do anything special, which really sucked. It's like not like they were like being flashy. It was just they just straight up just beat Purdue.
More talent, more speed, good head coach, seasoned veteran at quarterback on his third school. So, yeah, looking at the stats, Oregon had 25 first downs compared to Purdue 16. Oregon had 131 yards on the ground. Purdue had 208 on 40 attempts. Passing, Oregon threw for 290 yards. Purdue only 93. Total offense, Oregon had 421 yards compared to Purdue's 301. Purdue punted 4 times. Oregon punted twice. Really, only 1 turnover. And that was, Purdue was 0 for 3 on 4th down conversions. Oregon was 1 for 1. But the only turnover was, really late in the game. Ryan Brown's interception.
Yeah.
He threw. But looking at individual stats, Dylan Gabriel was 21 for 25 for 290 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Excuse me, Purdue did have a pick. Forgot about that. Kendrick Breedlove has all 3 of Purdue's interceptions from the season. Ryan Brown, 9 for 19 for 93 yards and 1 interception. Rushing, Reggie Love III had 11 carries for 95 yards. Ryan Brown, 14 for 71. Devin Mockbee, 10 for 49. D. Nyland Morissette, 1 for 11. And Jaheim Merriweather, 3 for 9. And Shamar Rigby, 1 for 5, which was supposed to be a double reverse pass, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But nobody was open, so we decided to tuck.
There was like nobody running. Like there was like nobody on that side of the field. So
there was one guy on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah.
He wasn't really open, so you just had at least he had the heads up, the awareness to make 5 yards out of it, I guess. Yeah. Max Clare had 3 receptions for 32 yards. Nyland Morissette 2 for 22. Devin Mockbee 1 for 18. Jerron Tibbs 1 for 8. Jamal Edrin 1 for 7. Andrew Sawinski 1 for 6.
A lot of blah.
Yeah. Defensively, Yanni Karloftis led the way with solo tackles with 7. Kendrick Breedlove led the way total with 8, and so did Yanni Karloftis. Breedlove had 4, solo 4 assisted. Yanni had 7, solo 1 assisted. And then Breedlove also had the 1 interception. 1 sack or 2 sacks on the night for Purdue. Will Helt had 1 sack for a loss of 14 yards. And Mo, I don't know how to say his last name. Amanade?
I think it's Amanade.
Yeah, he had one sack for a loss of 8 yards. Oregon defensively had, how many sacks did they have? 1, 2, 3 sacks on the night. So, yep. So Purdue's offensive line didn't do terrible, but they only dropped back to pass and passed 19 times. So.
They didn't pass in the first quarter. Was that the stat, right? Or was it not? We didn't complete a pass in the first. I can't remember if there was some stat like
pass. Yeah. So, and then the latest thing with the quarterbacks is Ryan Walters pretty much said both quarterbacks are taking snaps with the ones. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, I'm expecting when they roll out next Saturday, November 2nd against Northwestern, we'll probably see 2 quarterbacks. It's never worked. History of Purdue football has never worked at many programs, but I don't know. They're just scraping the barrel for anything at this point.
Yeah.
At this point. Cameron Day saying Westfield High School could beat this team.
Maybe.
I don't know about that. I'm sure Westfield's got some studs on their team, but I don't know about that. This was Purdue's first shutout loss since 2013. First time Darrell Hazel went against Ohio State, that was a 56-0 loss that day. So, definitely would have liked to see some points at least. Maybe a little more fight, but I wouldn't expect much. The line ended up being 30 points by the time kickoff started. So, it was boring.
Purdue was able to get some drives going, but then it always, without fail, there was a pre-snap penalty. If someone would jump off sides or something, it was just the back-breaking.
And the pre-snap penalties are so frustrating because, and I know nobody likes the coaching staff right now, but that's not on the coaching staff. That's on the players, the pre-snap penalties. I mean, especially on the replays, you look and nobody else is even close to moving. And there's always one guy who moves. So I don't know. But I was going to quiz you. on Purdue stat leaders to this point in the season.
Okay.
Let's see if you can get all these right. Of course, we know who leads the team in passing yards, passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's kind of a given. How about rushing yards?
Mockabee.
Mockbee with 510. Reggie Love's at 319. Ryan Brown's at 166. Mockbee has had 26 more carries than Reggie Love. So, how about receiving yards?
Is it Max Clare?
Max Clare with 384. How about receptions?
Is it Max Clare?
It's Max Clare. Max Clare's 24 receptions. Next closest is Jerron Tibbs with 16. Then it goes down to a two-way tie with Mockabee and Edrin at 10. Nylon Morissette is 9. Bibber 8. And then on so far, so forth. So yards, it goes from Max Clare 384 to Jamal Edrin at 161. Then Tibbs at 148. Everybody else is under 100. How about touchdowns?
Let's see here. Is it Neelan Smith?
Leland Smith is one of the 4 guys tied with 2.
Was it 2 with 2? Is it? Yep. Is that? Yep. Does Claire have 2?
Claire has 2.
I think who else? Does Mockabee have 2?
Mockabee has 1.
Okay.
The team only has 10.
There's not a whole lot of. Is this receiving touchdowns or just touchdowns total?
This is receiving touchdowns.
Okay, my bad. I thought it was just touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns. Mockabee and Love are tied for 2.
Yeah.
Elijah Jackson 1 and Meriwether 1, and also Ahmad Branch 1.
Yeah. So I've got 2 of the 4 for receiving.
Yep.
Edrin?
He has 1.
Okay. Tibbs?
Tibbs has 2, yep. And you're missing one other guy with 2. He's the only other guy who's caught touchdowns.
Yeah.
You've named everybody else.
Man, I'm drawing a blank.
He caught his touchdowns against, I believe it was Indiana State and Nebraska, or Nebraska and Illinois. I don't remember.
I can't think.
I know he caught one against Nebraska. Nyland Morissette.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Kicking, Spencer Porath has not missed an extra point. 15 for 15. He's 5 for 7 for field goals. How about solo tackles?
Man. Well, I know Yanni had a ton this last game. Is it Thieneman?
Thieneman with 36. Okay. How about assisted tackles?
I'm going to go Yanni.
Yanni is third with 13.
Okay. Assisted tackles. Will Helt?
Helt is 4th with 11. Or 5th with 11. Excuse me.
Who is it?
It is Kydron Jenkins with 20.
Oh,
right behind him is Dylan Thieneman with 19.
Yeah.
So total tackles, Thieneman's 55, Jenkins 52, Karloftis 35, Will Helt 34, and then nobody else has 30. How about sacks?
Jenkins.
He is tied.
Okay. Tied with Will Helt.
Yep, they both have 5. Thieneman, Chalet, Ajada, Berglund, Green, and Amande all have 1. And then interceptions, Breedlove's the only guy on the team.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. 7 games in, and 3 interceptions are all by the same guy. So, Patrick Kennedy with a question here on YouTube. How many players do you think will jump into the portal at the end of the season?
I mean, it's so hard to speculate now. I think it really depends on obviously like what happens with the coaching staff. If they do let him go, new guy, all that kind of stuff. You never know at this point. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's the state of college football. Wouldn't be surprised of a lot just because of just how college football is.
Well, you got to think, a guy who's been low to Purdue for 3 years would go down as probably one of Purdue's better running backs they've ever had, Devin Mockbee, especially if there's a coaching change. You got to think, does he want to go through another year of this to where he could go probably to a school that's more competitive?
Yeah.
So, it's just too early to tell. I guess I do kind of have a question that kind of relates to that, Webby, but, next week we're going to be in November, and Purdue has 5 games left. Northwestern at home, at Ohio State, Penn State at home, at Michigan State, at Indiana. Of those 5 games, if we're just talking wins and losses, what do you think Ryan Walters and staff have to do to be retained? Or Ryan Walters, at least. I think no matter what, if he does come back, I think he makes staff changes. So.
I mean, honestly, if you can win 1, maybe 2 of those, especially if it's like, the bucket game or something, if you can win 1 or 2 of those and then just be competitive in the rest and not just get your doors blown off, I could see, him coming back with the caveat of clean house. Like, you have to get rid of everybody. And, I know Boyle Sports said the same thing of like, if that's the case, Babinski and company have to be involved in who he brings in just to, like, again, because you need guys with experience. But yeah, I think that's if you're just at least, because that's the whole thing going into this year of like, we knew going into it, like, 4-8 was another possibility, but we thought it was like, if you're 4-8, but just competitive in the rest of the games, then you're okay with that. But it's, it's been the complete opposite.
Right.
For all the wrong reasons. But I think 1 or 2 wins, and then just like, again, just not getting embarrassed by those other ones, especially like, obviously Ohio State and Penn State are one thing, but like, if you can stay competitive in those other 3 games, the Northwestern, Penn State, or Northwestern, Michigan State, the Indiana game.
Right.
Now, do I feel confident in that? No, but
I think the one, like, say he does win 2 games and doors blown off at Ohio State, but it's competitive, and Penn State and whoever else. I don't know. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. It's hard telling, and I know there's a lot of rumors circulating out there about stuff too, and we don't want to speculate on rumors because we just don't know exactly what's going on. And if those rumors are true, then that's probably going to weigh into job security as well. I don't know. I look at it this way: if the rumors are true, it's awful for his family, and it's terrible that they're going through tough times. If they're not true, it's awful for his family because then it's making their family life hard, and accusations are getting made. So either way, it's probably not fun right now in the Walters household.
Yeah.
But that's all I really want to say on that. But I mean, I'm not confident in any game going forward, but if Purdue would somehow miraculously go 3-2 in November for 4 wins overall, I think he's safe.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
no matter who those 3 wins are against.
Yeah,
but I'm not confident in any game. I mean, Northwestern, they looked good a few weeks ago at Maryland. They haven't looked good besides that game. But everybody can say that about Purdue. Besides Illinois and Indiana State, Purdue hadn't looked good in any game. I did watch Michigan State a little bit at home against Iowa last weekend. I thought they were really impressive. Wouldn't shock me if they beat Michigan this weekend. Of course, Indiana, we can all make fun of their schedule all we want, but they're killing people, and they're out to 7-0 start and have college game day and all that coming. And they got 62%
with a legit chance of going 11
college football playoff, which we'll see if they're the same team without Rourke this weekend. But then Ohio State's Ohio State, Penn State's Penn State. So yeah, not gonna. I wish the schedule wouldn't have been so hard this year.
Yeah.
On top of the team just struggling.
Yeah.
That was the thing coming off Illinois. I'm like, man, I wish they could have played Maryland or UCLA or even a Minnesota. Somebody they could have been more competitive with in Oregon.
Yeah, to see if the Illinois thing was a fluke, because it's hard to say. Because Oregon is elite, so it's hard to say. Obviously, they made Purdue look really bad, but it's hard to say. Was the Illinois game simply just lightning in the bottle because they had no tape on Brown and Walters knows their tendencies, or was it like did they actually figure something out? I don't know.
Right.
What are your thoughts on? I know the Golden Blacks talked about this quite a bit. On Walters calling the offense moving forward versus like defensive. Because I mean, it sounds like he's like completely giving up the reins on defense, which I'm not.
Yeah.
Because I think Kane is just inept at this point, kind of going of Graham Harrell.
I unfortunately think the defense is so bad and the scheme just doesn't fit the personnel that I don't think it would make that much difference if Walters calls the plays on defense. And I obviously think there's a reason he's calling on offense. Maybe just Jason Simmons just isn't quite comfortable calling the plays. I don't know. But I thought you were going to ask me about the strategy to play keep away from Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
I actually thought it was a pretty smart strategy. It's
I thought
the game.
So too. It was just we couldn't capitalize.
Time off, but then you couldn't. He couldn't capitalize on them, and so if you can't put up points, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, Oregon's got such a quick score offense.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think Walters has been wanting to do on offenses for that competitive, because the way Purdue plays defense, in theory, it takes a lot of risks, and so it's kind of high risk, high reward sort of thing with man to man and all that. So like you need an offense that can hold on to the ball a little bit and kind of drain that clock a little bit, so the defense isn't out there all the time. I mean, but what was it? Oregon went 99 yards in about 6 plays. Like they're just. I mean, no matter who, that was impressive. Yeah. I kind of liked it. I was just like, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, we see that in basketball all the time, like try and take the air out of it. We see Wisconsin do that. We saw, Virginia under Tony Bennett before he retired, just like, we're going to cut down the amount of possessions we see in this game, so that way we ever give ourselves a fighting chance. So I didn't mind it at all. Yeah, I mean, I wish we would have passed them more 19 times, but also, I saw it real well on TV Friday night, not for once at a home game, not being at the game. Receivers just weren't getting open either. No. I mean, we see that almost every game, but they just weren't getting open. Yeah.
So there's only so much you can do as a quarterback when your receivers aren't getting open. And Ryan Brown, then if they're not open pretty quickly, he will tuck it and run. Whereas Hudson Card stays back there a little bit and tries to create things and hope things open up. So it will be. I am interested, assuming Hudson gets some run against Northwestern, seeing him with kind of this new look offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he's taken a lot of the blame that wasn't necessarily all his fault.
Oh, yeah. I mean, does he hold on the ball a little bit? Yes, but there was, what was it, Nebraska? Was it Nebraska or Wisconsin where he had the ball?
Wisconsin when he had 21 seconds.
And no one could get open. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what do you want him to do? I mean, I guess he could run, but that's probably the more frustrating part is just the offensive line and the receivers, because we heard so much in the offseason about how much better those cores would be. And they've just been a massive disappointment.
Not the case. Everybody's been disappointed except the punting game. Crimmins has been awesome.
I think the running backs have done.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I could be in love.
You're right. Awesome. They're good. They've been good. You're right. But and Max Clare's been fine. But even though he had a few big drops early in the season, but he's been fine. Patrick Kennedy, we have the slowest receivers in the Big Ten. Joke. Yeah, we don't really. Well, it sounds like the speedster's finally going to make his debut against Northwestern. Georgia transferred C.J. Smith. How much that'll help, I don't know, but I just want to see the kid. If he's as fast as he's supposed to be advertised, can't hurt. So, and maybe Nyland Green might be back for that game. He was out in the Oregon game. So, but I don't know of any injuries coming out of the Oregon game.
No, nothing really. I haven't really read anything.
So that's a plus, I guess. So, but no Purdue game to predict this week. So we have no spicy bowl predictions to do this week. My wife's was way wrong last week, saying we'd get within 10 points. Nope, she was wrong. But around the Big Ten, some interesting ones this weekend. Starting with a Friday night game, the longest trip in the conference. Rutgers at USC.
11 o'clock 13 Eastern starts.
My God, I did not realize that until right now.
Yeah.
USC is a 13.5-point favorite. These are two teams going in the wrong directions.
Yeah.
Rutgers is 4-3 and got smacked the last 2 times they've been out. And USC's 3-4, and Lincoln Riley's seat is not hot; it's on fire.
Yeah. I think USC bounces back and gets this one. 2 weeks ago.
If not, Lincoln might not make it out of the stadium.
Yeah. couple weeks ago, I was ready to, Rutgers could be a dark horse to sneak up, potentially contend for the Big Ten, and man, they have just free falled.
Oh yeah, yep. Nebraska had that crushing loss against Indiana, so they're 5-2. You think they're finally going to make a bowl, but we got to see it play out. They're 25.5-point dogs at number 4 Ohio State, who's had a week to just sit in that 1-point loss against Oregon.
Yeah, Nebraska has not beaten a ranked team in like 26
straight times.
Yeah, I do wonder if maybe they took Indiana for granted. Maybe they thought it was the Indiana of old. Because man, Indiana just came out and just punched them in the mouth and did not stop, and that was a very impressive win. As much as I hated it,
I've already seen Nebraska fans online wondering if Rule's the guy.
Yeah,
it makes me laugh.
It's so funny. Send him our way. I'll take him. Why not?
Yeah, oh my God, yes. I think he's a good football coach. He wasn't with the Panthers, but who is with the Panthers?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
I think Ohio State drills them. I don't think it's as bad as the Indiana game. Indiana, they just don't let up.
They quit, and they quit.
Yeah, and they did. Yeah, but I think Ohio State gets up 21 and then just kind of cruises to the end. I think they still cover though.
Speaking of Indiana, they're ranked 13th, which I got to thinking today. I'm like, a lot of teams, aside from like Army and Navy, if they were 7-0, they'd be ranked probably in the top 10. That shows you the strength of schedule or the lack of strength of schedule for Indiana. They are 6.5-point favorites against Washington, who's coming in after a bye, which is a much needed bye after losing at Iowa the way they did. Washington's 4-3. Indiana's a 6.5-point favorite.
The Michael Penix game.
And it's amazing, and didn't mean to cut you off there, but
you're good.
This might be the first time I can ever remember game day is at a location that the game's at noon on Big Ten Network.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, this game, it must be on. I was like, oh, they must. Because I saw because I think I had checked the schedule when they announced when game day was. I was like, oh, they're definitely going to move the Indiana game to a night game or something, and then nope, it's still noon on Big Ten.
Because the games always, the TV times get locked in the Monday before or 2 Mondays before the games.
Yeah.
So I still think the only reason game day is going, because there's other games on paper better than this game.
Yes.
But Lee Corso is 89 years old.
Yep.
He just returned to game day last week. His health's up and down. He's I don't want to call him a legend at IU, but was a decent coach for them back in the day. And then they've never been to Indiana besides that Thursday night opener years ago in the Wilson era against Ohio State. So they're trying to knock all the schools off they can. There's only 4 or 5 they've never been to.
Yeah, haven't been to Champaign,
which is kind of surprising. Yeah. And they could have tried to wait for the Michigan game, but say Indiana drops this game or drops one to Michigan State, then that Michigan game loses some luster, or Michigan keeps losing. So they probably didn't want to take the risk and probably wanted to just get out of the way. But who are you taking?
I think Indiana, even with a backup quarterback, as much as I hope Washington can kind of put things together. But yeah, until I see them lose, it's unfortunate.
I think Indiana wins as well, but I do think they trail for the first time all season during this game some point. So, Patrick Kennedy on YouTube. Looking forward to seeing how the West Coast teams play November, cold, freezing Midwest. Burr. I think a lot of them got lucky this year, if I'm not mistaken. At least I know USC did.
Yes.
But eventually that's going to happen. Yes.
I mean, Oregon does go to Michigan on the 2nd, so there's that. But the way the weather's been right now, it's like...
Yeah, right now the forecast, at least for in northern Indiana and Lafayette, for next Friday is high 60s. So,
yeah. UCLA goes to Nebraska next week, next weekend. I'm just kind of looking ahead here, see if anything else is crazy like that. I guess Oregon does go to Wisconsin the week of the 16th.
Okay, that could be a little chilly.
It could be a little chilly. And then I think that's really it.
That's crazy, though, with 4 new additions. That none of them got stuck in, Minnesota in November. But
anyways.
Can't wait till the day comes, though. I do know. I think I'm pretty sure we play USC on Senior Day next year.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Well, no, that would. I'm an idiot. That would be IU. But the game before, I think the game before. But I don't know how like that's when you look at the future schedules online.
Yeah, and
I
who
don't know.
knows?
I don't know if those orders actually correct, but hey, I'd take it. Maryland at Minnesota. Both teams 4-3. Maryland impressive come from behind victory against USC last week.
Yeah, I was watching that game and I saw Maryland did convert a 4th down with 2 minutes to go. And I was like, oh, USC wins. And then I was checking Twitter later. I was like, wait, what? Maryland won this game? How did that even happen? But give me Minnesota.
This was 4-point favorite. Yep, I'm taking the Gophers. We were making fun of PJ a few weeks ago. Now it looks like he's probably going to get them into bowl eligibility here soon. Northwestern 3-4 at 4-3 Iowa, who's a 14-point favorite.
Give me Iowa.
Yep, I like Iowa in this one. Number 20 Illinois coming off a big win over Michigan. They are 6-1 at number 1 7-0 Oregon. Oregon is a 21.5-point favorite. The last time Illinois went on the road against a number 1 team was in 2007 with Juice Williams, Jay Lehman, and that team, and they beat the then number 1 Ohio State Buckeyes.
Wow. I'm gonna take Oregon still. I think again Oregon's just on a mission. But I'm gonna say Illinois covers that though.
I could see that.
They've looked pretty impressive. As much as I don't give them credit, they've looked impressive.
Yep. I agree with you. I think the Big Ten game of the weekend here is for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, I believe. 4-3 Michigan State at 4-3 Michigan. Michigan is a 3.5-point favorite. And besides Purdue's offense, Michigan's offense, that'll make your eyes bleed too.
Yeah. Man, Michigan needs this one badly. No, I'll pull the upset. I'll pull Michigan State.
I'll take Michigan just being at home, but it wouldn't shock me. I like the way Michigan State played against Iowa. And number 3, Penn State 6-0. Can James Franklin win a big one? This is a night game on NBC at Camp Randall against 5-2 Wisconsin. Wisconsin's playing good football as of late. Yeah. Penn State's 6.5-point favorites. And next week, Penn State hosts Ohio State.
Yeah.
So could this be a case where they get caught looking ahead?
Yeah. God, I don't know how you can go into Wisconsin and look.
I don't either. God knows we don't.
Yeah, but Wisconsin has looked ever since that Purdue game. I mean, they've figured out they've cured what's
everybody's get right game.
Man, I am so tempted to take Wisconsin in this game just because I just don't believe in James Franklin.
I don't either.
But give me Penn State, but they don't cover. This is a field goal or less type game, I think.
I'm taking Penn State. As much as I rip on James Franklin, I feel like Wisconsin, but a lot of times their night games have been against Michigan or Ohio State at home in the past. I feel like they don't win a lot of big night games for some reason, but
yeah,
I am taking Penn State. Patrick Kennedy on YouTube. Would you like Patrick Fitzgerald for head coach?
Hell no. Next question.
Yeah, good football coach, but too much baggage.
Too much baggage. Yeah.
I would be shocked.
Honestly, towards the end, he wasn't even he was still struggling at the end. But yeah.
Yep.
In today's modern age, I think he's Nope.
Yep. Some really good top 25 matchups this week. Here's an interesting one tomorrow night. 5-1 Syracuse. I've watched Syracuse a few times. I really like what they're doing this year. At number 19, 6-0 Pittsburgh. Okay, that's another team. I guess they're 6-0, not 7-0. But what are you doing ranked 19th at 6-0?
Right. Yeah.
Pittsburgh 6-point favorite.
Yeah, give me Pitt.
I will take Syracuse. Number 17, Boise State 5-1. Might have the Heisman Trophy leader on their team right now. At 6-1 UNLV, Barry Odom, the old Missouri coach, doing a heck of a job there. Boise's 3.5-point favorite.
Give me UNLV in the upset.
I will take the Broncos, Boise State.
Of course you would.
Yep. Number 12, Notre Dame, 6-1. At in asterisk Navy, who's 6-0 because this game's actually played at MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Notre Dame is a 13-point favorite.
I mean, Army Navy is an awesome story. Both are undefeated. But I think Notre Dame, they cruise in this one.
Yeah, I think Navy hangs in there for a while, but I think Notre Dame ends up winning and covers. Number 21, Missouri, 17-point dog at number 15, Alabama.
Man, Caleb DeBoer is getting some heat.
5-2, probably lucky he's not 4-3 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a job that especially following the greatest college coach of all time. Yeah, it's got to be. I can't even imagine. But give me Alabama. I think you would think that they would come out and
I
just
keep
say,
thinking that
I
week
keep
after
thinking,
week.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I will take Bama, but I think Missouri covers. I think
Yeah.
Missouri covers. Number 11, BYU 7-0 at 3-4 UCF, who's a 2-point favorite.
Is there something going on in this game that we don't? Is a quarterback out or?
Not that I know of, but
Give me the Mormons.
yeah, BYU's been fun to watch. Number 5, Texas
It's crazy.
6-1.
Sorry to catch up. What's crazy?
No, you're good. You're good.
These college football playoff, if the season ends today, who would be in the and you see BYU and Indiana in the mix. It's what the hell is going on?
Well, piggybacking off that, number 5, Texas 6-1 at number 25, Vanderbilt 5-2.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
if you would have told me at the start of the year Indiana was going to be ranked 13th, 7-0, Army, Navy were going to be undefeated ranked, Vanderbilt was going to be 25th, I'd been like, I want whatever you're smoking, dude.
yeah.
Whatever you're smoking. And here we are. College football has changed. But Texas
that's what we kind of wanted with the 12-team playoff is this this chaos and having teams that normally wouldn't
more parity. Yeah,
you can get that lightning in the bottle. Unfortunately, we just don't want certain teams in it. Sorry, what game are we on?
Texas at Vanderbilt. Texas 18.5-point favorite.
Yeah, give me Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch much of their game on Saturday. I saw Drew was there, Drew Brees.
Yep.
Did both QBs play, or was
yes they did? Yes, they did.
Hurt, or they just play Arch just to play?
Oh, they played Arch just tried to get a spark, and kid's talented, but he had never seen a defense like Georgia's in his life.
Oh yeah, did you see that still shot of the QB sitting on the sidelines? Look like they were shell shocked.
Oh my god, Georgia's defense! I'm watching that team. I'm like, I know they lost to Alabama. They're ranked number 5. I'm like, they still might be the best team in the country.
Oh yeah,
I mean they are just nasty.
Yeah,
nasty. But yeah, and the Newers played to start the second half and looked a little better, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Florida State 1-6 at number 6, 7-0. Miami was 21-point favorites. Miami's gonna kill them.
Yeah. Should Purdue and Florida State play each other when everybody else is playing their conference championships just to see why not? Sure. Why not?
Oh my god! I mean, I've never seen a team fall down as bad as them this year.
Let us play before the national championship game or something. This is the warm up game.
If game day wasn't already A&M this year for the Notre Dame A&M game, maybe they would have went there for this one. Number 8 LSU 6-1 at number 14 6-1 Texas A&M, who was a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, they are. I'm gonna take the Aggies and the Colt. I'm gonna take the home team.
I'm gonna take the Jackass and the Tigers. I just feel like I take them all the time. I can't stand them, but the dude knows how to win big games.
Yeah, he does.
And that'll do it. Yeah, I don't see Kansas holding a prayer against Kansas State, and SMU should roll Duke. So
we got
Duke 6-1. 6-1.
Ole Miss is a 20-point favorite against Oklahoma. If Oklahoma loses, do you think was it Venables? Is that his name? I can never remember.
Venables.
Venables.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets canned?
It wouldn't shock me. He, and I know we hired a coordinator. It's not going well, but I was really scratching my head when Oklahoma did that. Mm-hmm. I felt like they could have went and got a really good experienced head coach. They hired, but Clemson had a nasty defense at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a head scratcher for sure. Switching gears a little bit from football to the hardwood, Boilermaker men's basketball team is in action this Saturday.
There is.
It's a charity scrimmage. Charity scrimmage, so the wins and losses don't count. But it is going to be good competitions. It's at Creighton, who was an Elite 8 team last year, or a Sweet 16 team last year, and was leading at halftime against Dalton Connect and the Tennessee Volunteers until Tennessee won that game. And then I played Purdue, and we all know how that game ended, thankfully. That game went and ended, I should say. But I do not know much about this year's Creighton team, to be honest.
No, I know they returned Ryan Kalkbrenner for a 5th year. For those who don't remember, go back in
he and Dickinson, man, they've been there forever.
Yeah, back in 2020, in regards to Purdue, Purdue is recruiting. You could probably argue Hendrickson was number one priority. He was a higher ranked kid. They're also reading Ryan Kalk, which I actually wanted Kalkbrenner over Dickinson at the time, just because I thought he was more likely to come to Purdue than Dickinson. And missed out on both. Missed out on a kid who ended up going to Wisconsin. He was more of a forward, though, not a center. And Purdue ended up with their consolation prize of a kid named Zachy that no one had heard of, and I think that worked out all right. But Kalkbrenner.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we're going. It's crazy how it's happened. It's happened twice, like in recent history, where Purdue's had somebody or thought, or in this case, we didn't have anybody, but we had our top picks went elsewhere. Because the other time was the class of 2016, I think. 2016. Or was 2015? I don't remember. Where Purdue had a commit from Indianapolis, CJ Walker, who ended up decommitting, going to Florida State. And yes. Purdue found some kid named Carson Edwards down in Texas. That worked out all right. It's crazy how that happens.
I was gonna say, in both sports, football and basketball, Purdue's caught lightning in a bottle, literally, with a athlete who wears the jersey number 15, and Drew Brees and Zach Edey, because Drew Brees tore his ACL his junior year in high school, and his only offers were Brown, Kentucky, and Purdue.
Yeah.
And he chose Purdue, and the rest is history, because he wanted to go to A&M, but they did not want him. So,
and you could, it's obviously, it remains to be seen because he's a freshman, but a similar thing could be coming out with CJ Cox, because as the story goes, Painter was watching, which I believe was Travis Perry, who's now at Kentucky. He's not he went some, others, he's from Kentucky. So I can't.
He did say Kentucky. He didn't fall Cal at Arkansas.
Yeah, he said at Kentucky. Yeah.
Okay.
He's with Pope. He all-time leading scorer in Kentucky basketball, high school basketball history. Granted, he started playing varsity 7th grade, so that helped when you do that. But Purdue was on him forever, and Painter went to go watch him. And then lo and behold, this kid who only had Ivy League offers named CJ Cox was taking it to him, and Purdue, and then Painter's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can go after this kid. And it sounds like CJ Cox is doing really, really well. Really exciting. But it's crazy. That's why, this in this current recruiting cycle, we've missed on, Trent Sicily and some other guys, but it's I'm not worried at all.
No.
Point, it's the least stressed I've been about recruiting in a long time, which is saying something, because usually I'm stressed about everything.
And I think, and not only is Purdue kind of an outlier, because they still do use the high school recruiting over the portal, but someday they'll probably have to dive into the portal more than they have.
Yeah.
And I think anyway, how college athletics across the board are anymore, that's where everybody's main focus as fans needs to be more in the portal than high school recruiting, both basketball and football, unfortunately. But
but going back to Creighton, Kalkbrenner, he's a 5th-year senior. He's a 7-footer, maybe even 7'1". I think he's won back-to-back Big East Defensive Player of the Years awards. So it's gonna be a challenge, especially not having the best player in a generation as your center anymore. So it'll be a good test. It'll be a great test for Berg, and kind of see where he's at, and then also a great test for Daniel Jacobson as well. And even I'll be curious to see, if TKR guards him or what happens with that, because obviously there's a big size advantage there for Kalkbrenner. They did lose their sharpshooter from Baylor Shireman. He was on somebody. I can't remember who he got. I don't know if he got drafted or not, but he was a guy he had anywhere in the gym range. But they'll be solid. Greg McDermott is Greg McDermott. Yeah, he's a great coach. So should be a good game. I'm curious to see if they act like Arkansas did last year, where they treated it was an Elite 8 game going to the Final Four type of scouting, whereas Painter played Will Berg and everybody before the 10-minute mark. So one team took it very seriously, one did not. And congrats to Arkansas for winning that game. Congrats.
Yeah.
You can hang the banner for it. So we're curious to see if I'll be curious to see how Painter does this. Is it similar if he tries to maybe simulate, because last year's team was pretty I mean, we didn't, like we said, we had really one new piece essentially with Lance Jones, so we kind of knew, so he could kind of fool around and kind of see what works. But I wonder if maybe he might do it differently this year because we've got so many, new pieces. Does he try and treat it more like a game, just kind of see how these guys react to it, or what? And Sanford goes for Creighton.
Yep, and he and McDermott, I think, are pretty close, and they might talk before the game and be like, "Hey, what do you want to work on?"
Yeah,
so help each other out. I don't know.
It's the cool thing about it. It used to be the secret scrimmage. You hear about kind of stuff like that, but it's such a cool thing they're doing now. Like where this is, you can watch the game because it is available. I think it's what $10 on that.
$10, yep.
On like GoCreighton.com, which it's going towards charity, so it's not like it's going towards Creighton Athletic Department. So definitely,
it's not BTN Plus going towards the Big Ten Network.
But it's a chance for these guys to be should be a raucous environment. Creighton always has really good home court advantage. So I mean, the only way it doesn't benefit you is if you have an injury. So just God forbid no one has injuries.
That's the main thing.
But yeah, it gives you a chance to play in front of a tough crowd and see what you got. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll I think next week would be a good time to do our basketball preview episode. Even though we can also preview the Northwestern football game, but I think next week would be a perfect time to do our basketball preview episode and give our thoughts and predictions and all that good stuff, because it's gonna be a fun year, to say the least. So yeah. But
what were your thoughts from the highlights from the scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, right away, Braden Smith looks like the alpha of the team, especially on the defensive end. Liked what I saw from Trey Kaufman. Liked what I saw from Fletcher Lawyer driving the ball. Jakari Harris looks like a beast. Jacobson was impressive. I mean, that's the thing. They're taking the highlights of the guys, of course.
Yeah.
But no, I what I've seen in that, and then the 6 minutes from a practice, I like. I think two of my concerns, and I'm not real worried, is I don't know if Colvin and Heidi have taken those steps yet that we all were hoping for, because I feel like if they had, Matt Painter would probably say more about them than he has been. I think they'll be fine in the long run, but it won't shock me if neither are starting game one.
Yeah. I guess what's your prediction for this? If assuming we'll just say Painter treats it like a game, at least for the starting lineup, who do you think starts on Saturday?
I'm going to throw one out there, and maybe a lot of people disagree with this, but I'm going to go Braden, Fletcher, Jakari, TKR, and Caleb First.
So I was thinking Caleb First early, and going into the offseason, I was like, I think First starts next year, and people were saying that was stupid.
I've come back around. I kind of lost hope, but now I'm like, at least to start the season, having a veteran out there, your lone senior, because he plays really well usually in November, December.
It's like he's really athletic. Like I know, like
he's got a motor. You know, somebody's got to take that for. We're gonna be missing Mason Gillis's motor. Somebody,
So. I do wonder, just because of Kalkbrenner, does he throw like a big Willie out there? But yeah, that was
That's gonna be a great nickname.
I can't. Big Willie Iceberg. Something it's endless. Yeah, because your starting five was my guess. I was going to say First is going to start.
For a long time, I was taking First out and putting Heidi in at the 4.
Yeah,
but I'm getting the vibes that might not happen right away.
So. Yeah. First can rebound really well, so he hustles. I say he's a great athlete, so I think you can get out and run with those two guys. And if you can finally have the TKR and First playing together conversation we had in 2020 when they were both being recruited by Purdue. But yeah, that's my starting five. I can't wait. Yeah, sadly, CJ Cox in that highlight video, which is a shot maker, which is really cool.
Yeah, he's a bucket. Yeah.
I think he's just a really cerebral player too.
And I like Burgess's motor. I don't know. Yeah. I think you gotta redshirt him.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like if you can have that. I guess it kind of depends on like how does like. I feel like him and First are essentially like the same player in a way. I think Burgess can shoot it a little bit better than First, for at least from deep. But it's like if First is sliding, backsliding, do you slide, Raleigh in there? But yeah, every time I hear rebound, I'm like, man, do you redshirt this kid? Like, because it sounds like he's just a little spark plug, which is awesome.
It's a great problem to have, I guess, when you're going into the 11th hour trying to decide who to redshirt and who not. So
Yeah, which at the end of the day, it is up to the player, as Painter
Yep.
always says. So,
Yep.
like, I think we can probably, I don't want to. I mean, it's all speculative, but you probably assume Jack Benner redshirt just because
Correct.
of just not enough minutes at the.
I think he knew that coming in.
Oh yeah, 2 to 3 spot. So, but yeah, it's that second one because I don't think you can redshirt Jacobson because he's your best shot blocker.
I don't either. Yeah.
And then obviously you're not going to do the 2 guards because then like one of them's going to start, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Jakari. I know he's not the most explosive athlete, but man, like just what you hear about him on the defensive end, like it's wild.
You know the guy who's, and I feel bad for him because he's stuck through injuries and different things, but the guy who's definitely lost in the mix is Waddell.
Yeah, it's tough.
He could probably play at some other places. But
yeah, and you wonder like if his dad wasn't, an alum, like would he have dipped by now? I mean, granted, I think he's dating a volleyball player, but so I'm sure that plays into it. But I mean, yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, maybe he's living the dream. I mean, it's kind of see down like
I mean,
Anthony Leal down in Indiana. He's like hardly ever plays, but he's
not going to go pro. I'm going to make some money, win a lot of ball games.
Yeah,
make some great friends. Yeah,
play for the school that you grew up cheering for more than likely.
Good point.
Because your dad, as we can all.
I guess it's just so rare now.
Oh yeah,
because we're just used to people not playing up. I'm due, so I'm leaving. So
yeah, worrying about in December if a guy's not playing, like, oh god, is this guy getting like the whole Brandon Newman thing of like a 4-month long discussion if he's going to transfer or not? It's like, let's just wait, wait and see.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I mean, it sucks. It's funny because you look back last year. At least I know for you, you could definitely wait for basketball to start. Just of what Purdue went through.
I was just I was like, this season's gonna be miserable.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be nervous every game. It doesn't matter if they win them all until March, and it was such an enjoyable season. So.
Yeah, and then now it's like, I'm always ready for basketball, but it's fun when you can sit back and enjoy football season. Even though last year was still enjoyable, even though it went 4-8, but now it's just like, God, I just need something to look forward to. Which it's crazy that it's already here. I feel like felt like even just like 2 weeks ago, it felt like it was still months away, and now it's first game is a little over a week.
But I'm an outlier to be like, whether it's pro or college, like I think basketball could start in December and let football finish completely and be just fine. Because I loved the NBA season where they waited till like Christmas. It was because of the strike to start the season. Hell, the NBA started last night.
I know.
Wow, but
Zachy getting the
action tonight.
Yep.
Bronny Jr. got in last night.
Oh God,
I could not believe he actually played 2 minutes.
Yeah, because then you look at, I mean, actually,
who runs the team?
You had 2 former Big Ten guys who did not play because the Lakers had Jalen Hood-Schifino from Indiana, did not play, and the Timberwolves had Terrence Shannon Jr. from Illinois. He did not play, which is crazy. I thought for sure he would play just because he's older and all that, but yeah, Bronny plays like 9-10 minutes.
But 2 minutes and got 1 rebound, was 0 for 2 or 3 shooting, I believe. Yeah. But it's like there was like you said, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and there's like 3 or 4 other Lakers that didn't play. It's like, all right, JJ Redick, you already showed that you're not the real coach after one game. It's LeBron. So
yeah, it's crazy. I was looking at tickets last night for when the Pistons and the Grizz come to Indianapolis because I want to try.
Do the Pistons come twice or once?
Yeah, they will. They'll come twice.
I know Memphis only comes once. So.
Yeah, your inner or your
division.
Yeah, they come. You play them
twice each location. I get so confused with the divisions and NBA now. Like winning your division doesn't even do you that much as far as seeding in the NBA. Like it used to.
I remember back in like 05 when the Pacers won. It was like a huge deal. It felt like it was a huge deal, and now it's like I couldn't even tell you if who won. Was the Bucks who won the Central last year? I don't even remember who won the Eastern Central or whatever.
It's either the Bucks or Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean the Pacers were close because they made obviously the.
I think Cleveland was pretty good though last year.
I have no idea. Yeah, just feel like No. Also, I just don't pay attention to the NBA as much anymore. Hopefully,
I
Zach and Jay.
Like I told my dad, I'll look at the box scores of the Grizzlies and the Pistons. I'll follow the Pacers a little bit, but I don't get their games up here in Fort Wayne. So
speaking of Pacers are playing the Pistons. Ivy's played 11 minutes, 2 for 4 for 6 points, 1 rebound, 1
right.
assist, 3 fouls.
All right.
Halftime.
And I
Pistons are
do
winning 58-49.
I follow the Nuggets a little bit too. Of
Yeah.
course, I like a lot of Denver teams, but also I like the way they play basketball in the NBA.
Yeah.
I find it
There's a
fun.
few
Like
teams like that where it's like I can enjoy.
they run up and down the court, and Jokic is just fun to watch. And yeah, it's like the Kings back in the early 2000s. I always liked watching them because their ball movement was awesome.
Mhm.
I don't know how we got on this tangent of NBA. That's all right. Filling in the minutes. But while we got a minute, let me tell everybody about one of our great sponsors, and that is Mad Mushroom. Mad Mushroom has been serving Boilermakers since 1993, and they're located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're well known as the home of the original cheese sticks. But whenever I visit or Webby visits, I like to sit down and have an ice cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which for the month of October is the Oktoberfest pizza. It's amber ale beer cheese topped with cup and char sausage, pepperdew peppers, dill, pickle slices, and mozzarella cheese, starting at the price of just $14. So next time you're in town, which should be next Saturday for the Northwestern game, stop in and tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you for $5 off any order over $20. And any Boiler Breakdown listener or viewer can also use the coupon code BREAK5. That's all caps BREAK5 to claim your discount online at madmushroom.com. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. And that's not the only sponsor of the podcast. Webby's got to let you know who else this podcast is brought to you by.
Yeah, we're brought to you by The Shop. They've been bringing hometown apparel to the fans since 2011. Started out in their garage. Now they've got 3 retail locations across the Indianapolis area. Whether you're a fan of, a local, an Indiana college team, or even Ohio State now, or the Colts, Pacers, they've got something for you. Whether it's shirts, sweatshirts, hats, drinkwares, or if you're just all things Indiana, whether it's, our state parks, anything kind of in reference to Indiana Fever, they've got something for you. You can obviously stop in the 3 retail locations, one in Carmel, one in Broad Ripple, one in downtown Indy. Or you can go online at theshopindy.com, use promo code BREAKDOWN, and you'll get 25% off your entire order.
I assume and maybe I shouldn't assume, I'm going to assume they're going to do a drop of some new merch right around basketball.
They usually do, yeah. So I'm sure coming up. Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. Anything else you want to hit on, Webby, as we wrap up the bye week podcast?
Yeah. No, so it's, I guess for basketball included in one of them. Sebastian Williams Adam, I think is his name. We'll see. It's some tough schools to go against with Auburn, Oklahoma State, who are good friend. Purdue's good friend. Steve Lutz is now coaching, and then Vanderbilt.
And Brandon Newman's playing there.
Yep, at Oklahoma State. So we'll see. Kind of monitor. It's kind of really probably the last prospect that Purdue's recruiting for that class. So if they don't get them, you'll probably see. Maybe they'll wait to the spring period to see. If anybody jump ship, if there's a coaching change, or just kind of see the portal, or maybe stay. If Purdue does redshirt somebody, maybe they just kind of sit tight, which I'm totally fine with. So I'm not. This is probably the least, as I said, least stressed I've ever been for recruiting, because just I have full at this point. I've had full trust in Painter and company.
Mm-hmm. Crazy not to at this point.
Yeah. But other than that, no, it's here's a busy time when you got football and basketball going on at the same time for the weeks that it does happen.
Yep. So just want everybody to stay healthy, both on the basketball court and on the football field during practice. I know people are probably laughing at my comment, but I don't want to wish injury upon anybody, and especially any key players, because Purdue needs all the help they can get more for these next 5 games. So, but let's boiler up, hammer down, and win the bye week.
Boiler up.